This is the power of place. Today's topic will be political organizations of space. These are used by peoples to differentiate spatial relationships between one area and another. Such organizations may be nations, where people are united by commonalities in ancestry, history, culture, or language, or states, in which the government acts as a binding agent amongst its citizens. Most areas hope to be nation-states, as these theoretically offer the most stability. We'll begin in Tunisia, exploring its struggle as a multinational periphery state and using centrifugal forces to establish a unitary government by conducting uncorrupt electoral processes. Next, we'll travel to Pakistan, where the boundary dispute regarding airspace with its neighbor Afghanistan has led to violence. We'll explain how Pakistan has sought to maintain its territorial integrity and national sovereignty, as the two states argue about the definition of this boundary. Tunisia, a small nation at the north of Africa, recently ejected its government in a series of riots and protests that led to the Jasmine revolutions across the Middle East and northern Africa.
Hi, I'm a professor from Harvard. My name is Maria Bararoma. I'm going to be talking to you what's going on in Tunisia. When they tossed out Zine El Abidine Ben Ali on January 14th, after 23 years of his kleptocratic presidency, Tunisians launched not only their own revolution, but a wave of change across the region. Yet 4 months later, there are wobbles in Tunisia itself. Protesters in Tunis have been calling for the fall of the caretaker government, prompting 4 days of riots and looting, which were continued once a nighttime curfew was reimposed on May 8th. The police have resumed harsh tactics, including the beating of journalists. Rumors are rife of a lingering conspiracy to retain power in the hands of the old elite, despite promises of democracy. As a nation on the periphery of the core periphery model, Tunisia faces the problems of fewer resources and infrastructure that may restrict its development. However, preparations are underway for a general election, scheduled for July 24th, to choose a 260-person body to draw up a new constitution. Tunisia intends to have a unitary government in which power is centralized at the capital. After weeks of wrangling, the government has agreed to a proportional party list voting system in which half the candidates must be women. It has also named a 16-member independent commission to oversee the polls to decrease electoral corruption.
Many protesters, relentlessly demanding democracy, have continued to raise concerns regarding the direction in which the caretaker government is going.
Hi, I'm Emily Bishop, reporting live from Tunisia, where protesters that were originally in place to try and overthrow the kleptocratic government are still rioting. They're unhappy with the state's inability to form a democratic government. And let's see what they're doing right now.
Get off my car! Get off my car!
Clearly, these protesters are very angry.
Get off my car!
Hi, I'm a representative from the Tunisian Historical Society. The Tunisian Republic is the northernmost country in Africa and the smallest of nations among the Atlas mountain range. Politically, Tunisia was organized as a constitutional republic, but rule of law didn't really exist here, and the secularly controlled Constitutional Democratic Rally controlled the nation with a repressive hand. The recently toppled President Ben Ali had held office since 1987. His day of election was celebrated as a national holiday, and he was re-elected several times, thanks to corruption and unfair electoral processes. Tunisia before and during Ben Ali's leadership remains a lesser developed nation and has not experienced much industrial activity or development. Ben Ali was recently toppled thanks to the Tunisian Revolution, which was precipitated in 2010 over high unemployment, food inflation, corruption, lack of political freedoms, and poor living conditions. Once Ben Ali was toppled, a state of emergency was declared, and the current interim president, Beji Caid Sebsi, assumed power. And that's about where we are right now.
Further controversy arose as a Facebook video of Farhat Raji, a popular reformist who served briefly as interior minister in the early days of the caretaker government, was released. In this video, captured by a reporter's hidden camera, he cast doubts on his former colleague's commitment to democracy, attributing his firing to corruption within the caretaker government.
So, Farhat Raji, how are you?
I'm not doing very well at all. the rest of my colleagues, they've thrown me out. I was previously the Interior Minister of Tunisia, and now they have sacked me. It is very unfortunate that this happened because I was actually the one who was protesting the appointment of very many corrupt officials. I mean, we are trying to move towards a very progressive government now, and I mean, if they keep appointing these people who have connections to the old regime that was so tainted by all the corruption, then we will continue to have problems. And the worst part is, if these types of actions continue, then the Tunisian army, they have actually suggested that they will, led by the Nadha, they will come in and they will overthrow the regime that is coming in. So I mean, I'm just trying to stand up for the good of our country, but everybody else is getting in the way. I do not know what I'm supposed to do now.
And this is a secret meeting.
All of Mr. Raji's comments and allegations are false. These comments are just made to embarrass the government and further his own political career. I have appointed a brand new cabinet, more of technocrats rather than corrupt politicians, none of whose members served in Ali's previous corrupt government. We need to move on. The country needs to move on and know the truth.
Social media has also played an important role in portraying the division within public opinion. Many citizens have expressed their opinions through mediums such as blogs. The internet has demonstrated the role of globalization in prompting such revolutions across the region, and it's important in defining political organizations of space. Pakistan and Afghanistan's borders have long faced conflict on both sides as the states work to determine who rightfully owns the land. Hostilities continued as a NATO helicopter allegedly entered Pakistani airspace and gunfire occurred on both sides of the boundary. Here's a reenactment of this event, followed by commentary from both sides.
I'm a NATO helicopter.
I am very angry. How could those NATO helicopters come and start shooting at me? This is ridiculous. That's my gun. I can't believe that they're violating political sovereignty, especially after the U.S. violated us and came and got Osama. This is not okay with me. I am very angry and stuff is gonna happen.
This is a bunch of garbage. The Pakistanis, they shot at us first, and we didn't even invade their airspace. I mean, this long-standing dispute, in all of this, we've clearly been in the right. So the Pakistanis just need to go back off and let us have what is truly ours.
NATO officials commented on this occurrence, speaking as a supranational organization. Military personnel from the Afghani government also spoke.
NATO accepts and confirms that this incident took place. We also acknowledge that this is an issue of Pakistan's national sovereignty. We in no way seek to infringe upon their right to rule over their land as they see fit. Additionally, we understand that they sought to defend their territorial integrity, which is a key component of any self-governing state. However, we are still trying to determine whether the helicopter passed into Pakistani airspace. We're investigating the incident to determine a flight path by examining GPS points in the helicopter computer. This will help us construct the sequence of events and determine what led to the exchange of fire. I cannot comment on which coalition country was involved, but we know that most helicopters that fly into that part of Afghanistan are American. We will work with the Pakistani government to determine what happened. We expect the same good cooperation from Pakistan seen in recent military operations along the border. NATO and Pakistan have recently launched coordinated offensives against Al-Qaeda on their respective sides of the border.
Hi, I'm a military official from the Afghanistani government who would like to clarify some aspects of this issue. The boundary dispute between Pakistan and Afghanistan is a long-standing one. A boundary is a vertical plane between states that cuts through the rocks below and the airspace above. This issue regarding a helicopter qualifies as many boundary disputes between two nations. Such disputes have occurred because tribal differences between people on both sides of the boundary, the ethnic discrepancies between two people come from difference in culture, ethnicity, identity, and are affecting political aspects of both states. Boundary disputes occurred between two political organizations of space. They do not agree as to the proper demarcation of the border. This issue will continue to be problematic for both nations until they define clearly the location of this border.